Hey everyone, my name is TricksterShadow, and it seems the developers of DBD Behavior Interactive are actually listening to the community. At least that's what a lot of people are saying after this dev update to the PTB that came out just a little bit ago. If you don't keep track of DBD, basically they came out with the PTB that nerfed medkits, nerfed base healing, nerfed Billy's engravings add-ons, a bunch of like small changes. They also nerfed a lot of gen regression. It says small changes. I don't know, at least one's pretty big changes. Nerf gen regression had a bunch of changes, and it made a lot of people uneasy off of some of the changes, especially like the healing changes made people uneasy because they're worried about like healing taking forever. And then the engraving changes for Billy, people were really confused by that. And so they came out with the dev update today, a dev update to their PTB, talking about all the changes that they're going to make from the PTB based off of player feedback. And so we're going to go over this real quick. I'm just going to kind of like hit you with the main points of this. And thankfully for us, they kind of bolded the main points. And so what they're going to be doing is they're going to be reverting the base healing time to 16 seconds. They upped the 24 in the PTB, but they're reverting back to 16, which is what it currently is in the live build. And then furthermore, they're keeping medkit charges at 24 charges. This is the same as the PTB. And so, like, if you're healing somebody else, you have like one heal plus some more. You may be thinking, oh, 24 charges, but it still takes 16 seconds to heal. Oh, so you're still going to have extra charges after you heal yourself. Not quite. Because what they're going to be doing, the medkits, I think we got to scroll a little bit more down, is they're making them, medkits will now have a 33% speed and efficiency penalty when used for self-care. And so, essentially, they're making it to where medkits don't heal you within 16 seconds, and you don't get the extra charges as if you were like healing somebody else with the medkit. Medkits are only used for one heal, and I believe this works out about 24 seconds as well. And so a self heal with a medkit will be about 24 seconds, and it'll use the entire medkit at base. And so I feel like that's a good change. Makes medkits worse. Medkits have been really strong for so long, but it still makes it to where healing isn't completely obnoxious for Survivor. I feel like this is good. They're also increasing the altruism healing speed of all medkits. Decent change. Combined, these changes will decrease the power of medkits when used for self-healing, but increase their power when healing teammates in return. So that's pretty good. Don't really have much to complain. They're changing a lot of the add-ons. Really not much to talk about here. Uh, but like we'll go over like the big ones. So the anti-hemo syringe, while this add-on is unchanged, this is the one that automatically heals you over time whenever you use it and it consumes medkit. Please note that its healing speed will be reduced by the medkit self-healing penalty, resulting in a 24-second heal by default. And so that's a bit interesting that you're going to have to lead on a 24-second chase minimum in order to get healed, which is going to be a little bit harder than the 16, of course. And it's also going to be harder considering that a lot of the healing efficiency things, perks, are not going to be as good with this coming update. Or I guess not a lot of them. Like Circle of Healing is going to be worse. Because if you don't know, if your healing speed is faster, even if you're not actively healing, when you have a hemo syringe applied to you, the hemo syringe will be applied even faster. So if you're within a circle of healing, it'll apply the hemo syringe faster. And so I wonder how that's going to work out with this. I don't know. That's interesting. Yeah, they just did some small changes to all the add-ons. Really nothing notable besides that. And even that is just not really a change to the add-on itself. It's just a change like the healing. Hillbilly, they're changing. So basically, they nerfed his engravings add-ons. And if you don't know much about Hillbilly, Billy is one of those characters that a lot of the community loves and is seen as like a really high-skilled killer and is really hard to play. And for some reason, they decided they wanted to test out some nerfs to his engravings add-ons, which were his most used add-ons, his most fun and most effective add-ons. And really nobody understood it because like not very many people were complaining about Hillbilly. Like there may have been like one person in the corner that was complaining about Hillbilly, but like a vast majority of people were not. Billy is like one of the few things on DBD that everybody can kind of get around and say like, yeah, this killer doesn't need to be touched. This killer's fine. And so they're not going to be nerfing his engravings, which is good. And they're also keeping their tweaks to the overheat mechanic. This pretty much makes it to where you can curve more often without overheating. But if you're trying to cross map with Billy, you're going to overheat faster. That's cool. They're trying to make like his like more fun, like engaging playstyle of like curving around loops more able to be done, which I guess is cool. Perks dead hard. So in the PTB, they made it to where when you got unhooked, you would get dead hard. Or not when you got unhooked. They made it in the PTB to where if you got a safe unhook, then you would get dead hard. But then people said, well, this kind of makes it to where the killer will want to tunnel more because the person that got the safe unhook, they may have dead hard and they may not be a good chase. And the devs were like, that's a good point. And so now they're making it to where it activates whenever you are unhooked or you unhook yourself. So when you're the survivor that gets unhooked for any reason, you get dead hard. And so if the killer tries to tunnel you, then not only do you have the borrowed time at base kit, but you could also have dead hard to extend the chase a little bit more. And so they're pretty much making it to where dead hard can't be used in the first chase, which good because after the first chase, like you're gonna have pressure going, and so if you lose a little bit of pressure, somebody getting a good dead hard off you, it's not as impactful. I feel like this is understandable. This is an okay change. I think people are still gonna complain about dead hard. I think people are gonna complain about dead hard until those perk is completely deleted, just because people hate it so much. But I think it's a good change. Pain Resonance, they changed it in the PTB to where it only activates 4 times, and it only activates on a survivor's first hook, on a Scourge hook. And so you have to hook all 4 unique survivors in order to get your max value out of your perk. If you hook the same survivor multiple times on the same Scourge hook, you only get 1 proc of it. And so they're going to be changing it to where it's even more powerful. Still activates only 4 times for the 4 unique survivors, but now it'll regress a gen that is most progressed by 25% instead of 15, which is pretty meaningful, especially if you think about combining that with like Dead Man's Switch, where it blows up the gen and the person gets forced off of it. That's pretty powerful. It's still only used 4 times a match, but still, I think we'll see pain res in the meta. Circle of Healing, they're making it to where you can no longer self-heal yourself with Circle of Healing. And so as a result, they're buffing Circle of Healing up to 100% faster healing speed. I think that's pretty understandable since you can't do it yourself anymore. Buffing the healing speed so other people can heal you faster makes sense. Autohaven Records, this is the last change. And so pretty much there's a tile that a lot of people, some people call it the Tetris tile. I call it the poop tile because it's not very good. But they identified that this particular tile was not performing that well. If you know what I'm talking about, it's the tile that was like a U window, and then it had a palette that was not even like a 50-50. It was like a 90-10, to where like the killer's always going to win. Unless you get a stun. Even if you get a stun, you're really just kind of dead. But they're making kind of like a 4-lane variant. So there's a palette right here on the left, and then that looks like you can chain that into this window right here. There's just enough room to where you could get a fast fall right here. And so it's interesting. Looks like you have to loop it from the palette side this way. If you loop it the other way, it's going to be a 50-50. But yeah, I'm happy with them making like some of the tiles a little bit more usable instead of just being like filler tiles that just can't really be used at all. And yeah, that's pretty good. And also, one thing that I did want to show, because people are saying, oh, it looks like the devs are actually like listening to our feedback and they're adjusting. It does look like that's what they're doing here. This is one of the DBD devs, the community director, Eric Pope, and he says, question for the DBD players to follow, or who follow. In your opinion, how can we better build the trust that we are always listening to your feedback, so in the future PTB tests are less panic-inducing? And so, to me, that's a good thing to see, because that means the devs are actually caring about like the community's responses, and they're actually wanting to improve their game, improve their communication, and just make the entire experience of DBD in the community better. And so I really like to see this. It's kind of energy that I hope to see coming from the devs and hope to see coming in the future as well. And I really don't have much to complain about this update. We're going to be seeing a nerf to a lot of Gen Russians, even like Pain Res, even though they're making it a little bit better with this dev update, is still going to be nerfed from the way it is currently. And so I'm curious to see how everything shakes out, because even though they're nerfing Gen Russian, they're also nerfing the ability to self-heal. And nerfing the ability to self-heal is going to make it where people are healed less often in matches, which should result in chases being a little bit faster on average. Of course, people may throw down pallets more readily, but then people will get rid of their resources more readily. Subsequent chases are going to be shorter. So we'll have to see how it all shakes out. But I would love to hear what you guys think. If you guys think the devs are actually starting to listen to the community, if the devs are actually starting to get in a better direction with the community, I would love to hear what you guys think in the comments down below. And I will see you all in the next video. Bye-bye.